All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the third episode of the Draw Straws podcast. As you know, we are now officially live. This channel and the episodes that we now have, they're out to the public, so anybody could watch it. I believe it's about 4 hours of entertainment, if I can do the math correctly.
Something like that.
But yeah, welcome back.
Yeah.
We're now we're on a consistent schedule now. So every single Friday, it's going to be pretty much a new upload almost every single week.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely sure what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to leave that up to Logan. He knows a lot more about what's going on. I just got off of work, so I'm tired.
Yeah, he's been a busybody this week.
I have
Uh
work tomorrow. Working on Saturdays is one thing, but
oh man.
yeah.
So I guess I'll start off with what's new with me this week. I was stressing a lot because I had a calculus exam this morning, Friday morning, and spent the 2 hours before the exam studying for that. And I think it went pretty well. There were several questions on the exam that were quite memory dependent, and I am someone that struggles a lot with memory. Old people always say, "Oh, my memory, it's going out," but I'm thinking, it can't be that much worse than mine. So that's been one thing, and I'm glad I did study right before the test. Actually, this is going to kind of lead into the first topic of today, but yeah, I'm pretty happy that I took the 2 hours to get that done right before the exam, and I think it went pretty well. It would have been tough. I managed to finish it in half an hour, and we had a whole 50 minutes, which is, yeah, I know I'm the best, right? Yeah, I'm so good. I'm definitely not a narcissist. But yeah, I think it went pretty well. I'm excited to see how I did on it, and maybe I'll update you guys on that next week. We'll see. So, what about you, Nelson? Anything new this week?
Uh, the only thing new is, for me at least, in terms of class related stuff. For the classes that I take this semester, I really don't have any exams, which that's a plus.
That's
But
nice.
turned in a project, psychology project. It was a like a written paper slash essay, but that's what's been going on for the school side of things at the moment, and it's just trying to get ahead of the week, just so that way I could do this type of stuff and just relax. I enjoy this pretty much over anything. This is the one or two things that I look forward to doing each week, and that's nice. So, I mean, that's pretty much that's all that's been going on for school in terms of school
All right.
is just trying to get ahead of the week, just do the assignments. It I don't even have to put that much thought into it because I think at this point I'm going to graduate at the community college I'm going to this semester. It's going to be my last semester, and then afterwards either start working full time or I was going to go to trade school. And there are some trade schools that are here in this city that we're staying in at the moment. So, yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I mean, we're getting to a busy point in the semester, right? Halfway point, basically, which is insane to me. Like the other day, we just started advising for my major, and that's a requirement at the school I'm going to. We have to meet with somebody to figure out what classes we're going to take next. And I just couldn't believe it. My professor brought it up, and she's like, we have to do advising again." And that was pretty funny. But I was like, "Really? It's already that point in the semester? It's crazy. I can't even imagine what classes I'm gonna start taking next semester."
Yeah. The time flies when your life's falling apart.
That is so true. Oh my gosh. Yep, everything's falling apart. Yeah, this is the point in the semester where if you were falling behind at the beginning, it's like, I might not be able to catch up. So it's definitely starting to get busy. Um, oh, did we lose you? Frozen,
Oh
frozen.
man.
There we go. You're back.
Oh no, am I?
Yeah, you're good now.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, connection might be a little iffy tonight. I don't know, but
Yeah. So for the
yeah.
first topic today, we were thinking of maybe talking about tips for school and tips for college. Um,
Okay.
let's see. I think that first and foremost, we are we're still making it through this stuff. Like we are in our uh, third year at college, both of us. We just started a
Well,
third year.
technically, if I may, you're going to a university. I'm going to a community college. You could argue, I guess it's kind of the same, but
They're
for
mostly the
me
same.
personally,
In
I
fact, I
wouldn't
would
say
argue
they're.
that yours is harder than mine. It sounds like
Eh,
it, like it's more
Well,
strict.
you mentioned to me that the kids that you know at that university who previously went to my community college, they said it was a lot more difficult than
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
actually going to your university.
Right.
It's a lot more laid back from what I've heard.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they give you kind of like guidelines, if I'm not mistaken. They just say, "Oh, here's a ideal deadline. Just see if you can meet that."
Yeah. In several
Am
cases,
I
that's how it is. Yeah.
okay? Well, for us, we have to. If we don't meet the deadlines, then we don't get the grade.
Right.
That's how it is for us. But
Yeah. I.
I,
There may be a cultural difference. Like a lot of the kids that go to junior college go there because they don't know what to do next, and they're not sure about moving out of the house and stuff. Um, and I feel like at the university I'm going to, they put an emphasis on you being an adult. They say the learning is on you. Um,
hmm
if
You
you
don't have
have
to be
yeah, if you have a question, it's on you to come to us and ask the question. We're not going to ensure that you get a good grade like we would in high school. Like if you're struggling in high school, the teacher is required to go to you and talk to you about it, or at least give you some guidance. Maybe they'll email your parents or something. So
there. Yeah.
that's not the case for college, and I feel like a big emphasis is put on that where I go. And with due dates and stuff, they're like, you guys, you're adults. You're you know that you're supposed to get stuff done by the deadline. Obviously, we know you have other stuff to do like jobs. So if you can't get it done by that deadline, just try to get it in, and we'll work it out. So that's kind of the attitude that I see it at the college I'm going to. So do you,
Yeah.
do you notice anything like that at MJ at JC?
So for since this is my third year and this is going to be my last year, since starting, they have each of my professors have made an emphasis on if you don't show up to class, you're going to get kicked out. If you like as in if you don't show up to class 2 or 3 times in total, then you're
Yeah.
going to get booted from the class. You won't get your refund. You'll get marked with a W, that type of thing. A W for us, I don't know if that goes for you guys, but I don't know how it works for your system or anything, but a W for us is it marks it on like your student record. So when you transfer to a college, they can see that record of yours. So they can determine whether or not you're actually I guess you could say an honest and academic student. I if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So for me at least, I started caring after I got out of high school because during senior year I didn't care. Because we both went to the same high school. You know how I acted. I did the classes, I got the grades, but honestly, I was just ready to be over with it. Just give me my diploma, let me be
Right.
on my merry way. That's how it was. And I got good grades. I averaged, I think, like a 3.2 to a 3.5 GPA
Yeah, that's really
for
good.
senior year at least. For prior years, it was bad, but I will say for us, I you could argue that we had it easy because during junior year, that's where it matters the most, and we had it during COVID, so
Yeah.
we pretty much I'm gonna be honest with you. Nobody's gonna know this. Nobody's gonna know who I am, what type of person I am, what I look like, or anything. I totally I totally took advantage of the online tests. I'm
Most
sure
people did,
everybody
yeah.
did. Everybody did.
Yeah.
How could you not? And if you didn't,
Well,
what
to
were
be
you doing?
fair, we weren't getting instruction that was conducive to good grades.
I
Um,
know.
it was an impossible situation for the teachers at the time, and we weren't being prepared properly. So the only reason people got anything but C's, D's, and F's was they cheated. That was it. And it was just something that wasn't. It was brand new at the time. There was no way that anybody could have been prepared for it. So um, it was a big shock, and it had a
Yeah.
big impact on the way we learn and the way things are going forward. I've noticed a lot of people have maintained that mentality of I'm not going to put in the work. I'm just going to
I
sail
think that
through and not listen.
I think that boosted the popularity of ChatGPT.
Yeah, probably.
I do
Most
think it did that.
I imagine a lot of people that use it today are the same kind of people that cheated during
Here's
that
the
time.
thing, and my brother, spoilerinos, I have a brother, a younger brother, of course. Uh, he told one of my other siblings that you don't use ChatGPT for English papers, you use it for math. He's not wrong. He really isn't. I knew he was trying to be a smart aleck and he was trying to be funny about it, but he's not wrong.
Hmm.
I'll admit, I've used ChatGPT to help me solve certain math problems,
Oh, definitely.
and it's great. It is great because it's a lot more thorough. And if you have a question, you can ask the program. I don't
Exactly.
understand this. Can you
It's one of the
explain this?
best ways to learn if
It
you use
it
it
it really,
correctly.
if you use it correctly, that's the point.
Yeah.
And I've done it throughout a little bit every now and then. For my second year when I was taking, I think it was trigonometry.
Yeah.
That was a hard class for me. I'll just say that. I mean, I came out with the B in that class. I'm not trying to flex or anything, but I passed the class. But to some extent, I did use ChatGPT to help in some areas. Not all of them, because I still believed in that philosophy of trying to be honest with myself and wanting to at least know that I'm capable of doing that type of curriculum.
Right.
And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't remember a single thing about trigonometry now at this point. I just needed it for the general ed and also for my degree. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. And truth be told, uh, after this semester, I'll get my associates in psychology, but
Probably won't ever use it again.
I'm never going to use that. I'm sorry. I'm never going to use it. And
Yeah.
also, spoilerinos, before we started recording, I know we're supposed to be talking about, tips for college and
Well,
everything.
that
I'll
could
give
be that could be a good segue into the first tip.
well, yeah. Um, for me at least, honestly, I would say if you are not entirely sure about what you would like to do with your life, just I was in that position. I thought when I transferred to this community college, I was almost certain about what I would like to do. Turns out it was just a it was just a passion that I had initially, and then over time it eventually died out. I got burned out of it, and it's just something that I didn't think was feasible. And slowly over time, I now know exactly what I would like to do for the rest of my life in terms
Okay.
of a career. I do. And people may or may not disagree, and you guys, for the like few people that are watching this, you can, if you do whatever you want with your life, as long as it benefits you and those that surround you.
Yeah.
For me at least, it was originally psychology, because I thought, well, it helps me be a lot more confident with myself, and it'll spark confidence in others. and it did do that to a certain degree. But for me at least, I was just getting tired of writing papers.
Yeah.
It was tiresome. The paperwork, always the paperwork. And also, as you know, you've seen it throughout this past year, I've started enjoying stuff that was more outside,
Yeah.
tangible.
Mhm.
I enjoy that aspect. And now my mom was helping me out with it. We went on to certain websites that they offer in terms of trade school. They have some in this city and they have some outside of this city. It's pretty much I could drive there. It'd be like a 30-minute drive to go to school.
All right. That's not bad.
If you don't want to go to college, if you're undecisive about what degree you want to or what you would like to study, do community college. Just do it. Pick something and just go with it. And as you're going with it, I would recommend getting through your general ed, get all that out of the way, and then on top of that, just explore. Do just dive into certain topics. Right
Yes.
now, I'm doing a small engines class at the moment, and I'm loving it.
Right.
I've enjoyed it more than anything.
Mhm.
And over this past summer, as you know, I took a Microsoft Excel class.
Yep.
It was an introductory to Excel, but I got the certificate. Apparently, I found out uh the the passing rate for that is like I think it's 50%.
Oh wow.
So, yeah. Um and that's for people who took the intermediate class. So I somehow, granted, I failed the test at first, but then I took it again. My professor let me take it again, which is nice, and I
Yeah.
passed it. I got like a
Great.
90 on it. So I have a certificate in that, and I just wanted to do something over the summer.
Mhm.
I went exploring. I had a
Yeah.
blast. It was great. If, like I said, if you're indecisive about what it is that you would like to study, just do at least a year or two of community college before actually transferring to a
Yes.
big university. Now, if you're like Logan and you're absolutely positive that this is what you would like to do, go for it. Just do it. It's fine.
Okay, real quick. I just want to kind of recap what you just said because you said a lot. There were a lot of tips
I,
hidden in there.
yeah.
Number one, if you use ChatGPT, use it correctly and do it in a way that helps you learn. Don't just use it to help you or to give you the answers, right?
Yeah, just to get
Um,
by. Yeah,
and
because then that's not learning.
that's right. And if you're using it for something like an English paper, don't use it to write your paper for you. Use it to give you ideas. Um, I have put a prompt into ChatGPT before for an English assignment, and then I say, "Give me some ideas on this," and it'll give you a list of things that you can start talking about. And then you go through with your, you go through in your mind and you think about some of the things you could say, and then you can build on top of those and add extra things on it on your own. And then it's not a ChatGPT paper; it's your paper. So it's great for ideas and it's great for helping you solve math problems. And if you use it for math problems, ask questions, ask it to help you figure out how these things are done. That's the first thing.
Oh yeah.
The second thing is what was the second thing?
I think what was it? For me at least, I didn't want to transfer to the university that you were going to.
Right.
My mom she pushed me into and my mom is usually right about like 98% of the time.
Yeah.
So she told me, just do it. Trust me. You're gonna you're gonna thank yourself. You're gonna you're gonna thank yourself later. You're gonna save so much money. That's another thing too. That's another tip. Some community colleges they have programs, a 2-year program that you can do schooling for absolutely free if you are fully enrolled.
Yeah.
If you do, for me, it's 12 units. 12 units is fully enrolled. If you do whatever the amount of units they require you, there's a chance that you'll fall into the program and you'll get free free college. Even
Right.
though you can argue, I don't really agree with that. I think it's an investment, but putting that aside, um, that might caused a little stir in the fire, but um my mom was basically telling me I'm basically paying for it. So she was
With
fine with
tax
it.
tax
So
dollars.
yeah. Take advantage of it. Just do it. it's worth it. It's worth your time, and you're getting the exact same education as you are going to a 4-year university.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So
but back,
use ChatGPT correctly. Take advantage of opportunities that are presented to you in your area, like free community college.
mhm.
Nelson's going for an associate's degree, and that means something. The degrees are certification that you can be responsible and get through classes. Now, of course, some of the classes people get through illegitimately, but
Oh yeah.
you have to be persistent to get the degree. It does say something. Um, Number three was uh, if you like go into college. First of all, go because it'll help you figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life, even if it doesn't involve college or academia. Um, I initially wanted to be a pharmacist. I went
I
into
remember those.
biology for,
Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
yeah,
I
I saw
remember
Dr. Doofenshmirtz and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be a pharmacist because I thought it was funny.
you were
Um,
looking at UOP, University of Pacific, I
yeah,
believe, right?
yes,
Yeah.
I was thinking about University of the Pacific, and
And you saw the tuition, and
it was like 100K a year, and that was okay. That's another tip. If you're going to university and it's 100K a year, it's probably a bad idea to go there because debt is the worst thing you can do to yourself when you are young. Um, you never want to
I'm
go
debt
into debt when you're young.
I'm debt free.
Yeah,
So
so am I. And it's really important that you stay out of debt because that is going to put you so far behind. So do everything you can to get scholarships, take advantage of the free education. Do whatever you can to stay out of debt. And
and avoid buying that new iPhone 16 Pro Max.
that's right.
Just don't buy
Save
it.
your
It's
money.
not
Yep.
it's not worth it. Here iPhone 13 Pro Max. This is fine. I
Right.
went from a 6S to this, and
Yeah.
it was the best investment I've had so far.
Yeah.
So, it ain't worth it.
I mean, I
It
still
ain't
have a
worth
12, iPhone 12, purple one.
even that's good. I mean, granted your mom upgrades every year, but that's her birthday, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame her. I wouldn't blame her. Hey, I'd do that
I
if
mean,
my
she still
birthday
has a
was
14 and the 16's out, so she's doing all right. She's two generations behind. But maybe we'll
every
talk a
single
little bit
time.
about that later.
Every single time I upgrade, she's always like, "You're trying to get ahead of me." That's what she says.
Yeah.
Anyways, I digress. But
So, that was number 3 or 4. Take advantage of whatever you can to save money so you don't go into debt. It's not worth it to go into debt. It's never worth it to go into debt. You always see um, doctors and lawyers who have gone through all of the education and they are deeply in debt and they don't pay it off because they are terrible with money. The more you have,
that
the
was
more you spend.
the
So,
biggest turn off point for me
right.
because
Um,
I was thinking, oh well, I could do psychiatry if I wanted to.
mm-hmm.
But then I heard the culture that surrounds psychiatry, and they're responsible for a lot of things that we see in the world of politics.
Yeah,
I was thinking, I don't want to get myself tied up into that game. It's not worth it.
right.
I don't want to put myself into hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. I don't want to slave away constantly. I want to do something that I know that I will enjoy.
Yeah,
And I think for me at least, it's going to be probably plumbing. I think I'm going to do plumbing. Shock horror, but something related to that. There's in the Central Valley, especially in the Central Valley for California. Spoilers. I guess that's where we are. You could cut that out if you want. It's up to you. But
it'll be
um,
fine.
we're in an agricultural based area,
Yeah,
so a lot of our we're dependent on plumbing, air conditioning, refrigerating, all sorts of stuff. And this trade school that I'm looking at, this one just ticks off all the boxes. So
mm-hmm.
you can do plumbing, air conditioning. They teach you all the stuff.
Right,
Plumbing, air conditioning, electrical work, refrigeration, all that stuff. And I'm thinking, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I don't care.
right.
I'm not I'm just gonna say this. It may sound really bad, but I'm college, it's not for me. I'm just gonna say that. It's not for me. I know it's for other people, but I think trade school, for me at least, is I think it's where I'm gonna find the most enjoyment in terms of a career. So they offer an apprenticeship program. Tuition, I think it was like 17,000, I'm pretty sure, but if you get into their program, you pretty much work for them for X amount of years and it'll pay off. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's your other tip.
Right.
If you don't want to do college, you could do trade school.
And
Make
there's
about
no shame in it.
$50,000 a year.
Yeah.
You are set for life essentially.
You
This
can make
is
a lot of money in
you
trades.
can you can make up to six figures. It's possible.
Yeah.
It's doable. Like top 10% earners across that range. I forgot what it was. I took statistics. I should know this, by the way. I don't remember anything about stats either. So, yay me. Um there's your alternative. If you don't want to go to a 4 year, uh, trade school is always it's always there. They're
Yeah.
always hiring. They're always looking for workers. The demand is high. They're in need, and I already went onto their website and I've already applied, and I'm gonna schedule for a school tour just to see exactly how they operate and what they do.
Sweet.
So
So
they
I
have
would say,
exactly what I.
yeah. So I would say, if you have zero idea what you want to do with your life after high school,
Mhm.
um, try out college for 2 years and see if there's anything that you're interested in.
Community college, if possible. I'd
Yes,
recommend that.
yes, because it's cheaper. And
It is.
if you decide that it's not for you, there's no shame in trades. You can take some classes like Nelson's taken, small engines, and then the Excel class. Um,
Experiment.
Experiment, right? Branch out. If there's something that you have a suspicion that you might like, go test it
Try it.
out. Yeah, and there's a good chance that your suspicion will be correct. I decided halfway through biology, my biology career, on my way to pharmacy, that I hated biology, and I was like, hmm, maybe I would like computer science. So I tried out my first class, programming one, and I loved it. So I've been on that track ever since, and it's been fantastic, and I'm having a great time. So if you notice stuff like that, you notice that there might be a path that you want to take in college, then go for it. You don't have to. You can go undeclared. You don't have to pick a major right off the bat either. You can give yourself time to experiment. I definitely think if you have no idea what you want to do, go check out college, community college maybe, and see if there's a good option for you. And obviously, if you have a good sense of what you want to do, like maybe you want to be a cop or maybe you want to go to trade school, there's absolutely zero shame in doing that. Um, you can make good money, and trades are very respected everywhere. Everybody
You get
loves.
you get so much knowledge from
Right.
doing hands-on work. They are there to help you. I've seen a lot of the videos from this trade school that I'm looking at in particular that they offer. I'm not going to say it because that would just kind of spoil where we live and everything. We're already kind of honing it down to where we are
Yeah, we
located,
got to
but
keep it a little.
I know little bit off the radar. Um,
Yeah.
they know we live in California, so but um you will learn even though I haven't done it yet. I already know that I'm gonna love it. I already know that.
Yeah.
And depending on this plan that I have going on in mind, graduate this semester and then soon afterwards either continue to work, try to at least, I'm going to apply full time, see if I can get full time at my current job that I have. And if that doesn't work out, so be it. I'll just go straight to trade school.
Yep.
And I know I'll be just fine.
Yeah.
So,
Um, the other thing I would say is when I was 18 and I was, heading out of high school. I was a senior in high school. I really thought that I knew everything. Like I thought, I'm all this. I have my brain is full. I've learned everything there is to learn from high school,
No,
from middle school, from elementary.
no, it develops
Um,
until you're fully 25. You know this.
yes, of course. But let me say that I have learned more in the last 2 and a little bit years than I had learned in the last 18 prior to that. Um, going to college uh, teaches you a lot, and even if you're just going into an entry level job, you can learn so much. We talked about this in the last episode. It's it's eye opening how much you can learn, and you may think, oh, but I don't really like learning. I don't want to learn anything anymore after high school. Like high school sucked, and I don't want to learn anything anymore.
Yeah, but it gets so boring.
It
It's
does,
so it, it 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 really does. Okay, I will say this. When when I uh, when I got into my community college for the first year, so first semester and second semester, I wasn't even employed. I didn't have no part-time job or full-time job. I was just focusing on my study, and that was it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for me at least, I was just dire to find something else to do, an external activity, something where at least I know I could make a little bit of money on the side.
right?
Just something. Just something for me to do. I didn't even care about the wage. I didn't care about any of that. I just wanted something that I could just take my mind off of.
Yeah,
Something that was therapeutic to me. And for me, it got so boring throughout the first year. It really did. I wasn't burnt out, but it just got way too boring for me.
yeah. Well, I think part of the moral of this story is things go a lot better for you when you're doing stuff that you want to do. If you're interested in a particular subject, it is
And
much
challenges
easier to
too.
learn about that thing. Um, Obviously, when you're in college, you're taking classes that you're required to take, not necessarily things that you want to. GEs are some of those things, but you're going to take classes that you like, and that is something to hold out hope for. Hold out hope for the fact that there's a chance that you will find something that you want to do, something that you'll be happy doing for the rest of your life, or at least until you're of retirement age.
Hmm.
You just have to do enough branching out to figure out what that is. Um,
Yeah.
and the same goes for a job, I would say. Um, they say that people who have jobs while doing school are more successful than people that don't do that. So I would suggest maybe while you're in school, in college, take slightly fewer units, maybe take 12 instead of 15, and do your best to maintain a job as well. And it could be even, like me, it's like 6 hours a week. That's basically nothing, but it's still a job, and I'm still learning a buttload from it. Especially about interacting with people older than me and how to navigate those waters and how to build. Reputation is a really big thing in our society, and it's something that needs to be built. You can't just start off as somebody that everybody knows is perfect, right?
No, you gotta earn that respect. You need to earn the honor. You have to, mhm, yeah. You
Right,
need to have a good character as well.
right,
So you need to talk the talk, but at the same time, you also need to walk the walk.
right,
Unlike
exactly.
Napoleon invading Russia, but yeah. So
Yeah. Okay.
weird analogy. analysis, but oversimplified. Okay, that's my point.
Yep.
You got to
Uh,
do both. So
right.
you got to be talk and action.
And
Don't be
part
a
of it,
politician. You don't want to.
yes, and part of it is you have to put yourself out there. You have to be seen. You have to be noticed. People aren't going to notice you if you're hiding in a corner, right? So, putting yourself out there, going to college, building up a reputation, maybe going to trade school, building up a reputation, being around other people that share similar interests as you, that helps. And certainly, when you're working a job and you do a good job, and I mean, like you're not just doing what you're supposed to do, you're doing above and beyond. That's really important. And when you do stuff like that, people notice, and they notice, and they talk to other people about it. Um, and this is actually kind of funny. I was I was working, and I greet at the church that I work at as well. And a lot of people, it's a lot of older people at a church, right? Nowadays, the younger
Mhm.
people kind of don't go as often. So, um,
They're all heathens like me.
hey, you're welcome. You're welcome to join us anytime if you want.
I will say, my stance on your church in particular. I will say that they're kind of, no offense, they are, I would say, for what, and I'm not trying to put your church down or anything, because you could say the exact same thing about mine, but they kind of, they're a little bit dicey in terms of, I guess you could say, on the political spectrum when it comes to a lot of
There are
things.
a lot of opinions at our church.
There are a lot of factors and a lot of aspects. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but
They have
yeah,
proven to be much better in recent history, though. They've stuck a lot to our beliefs over the political charges of modern society. So
I will say from my experience being there, and I know it's like you said, it's probably a lot different now,
yeah,
but from my experience there, it was mostly they kept diving onto the political side of things.
yeah,
I will
it's
say
gotten a
that.
lot better.
I believe you.
Yeah,
I believe you.
but about the greeting thing, I've been greeting. A lot of people have seen my face. I do work when other people are around. Obviously, I have to because you know, work outside in the daytime, of course. And people start seeing me, and then I had one lady that went to brag to my grandma about me, and that was pretty embarrassing. But that's the kind of thing that happens when you. And I'm not trying to say that I always go 100%, always go above and beyond. I'm perfect. No, I'm not trying to say any of that. Um, what I'm saying is, if you go and do a little extra every now and then, people notice, and when you do a good job, people notice, and building that reputation up is very important for the rest of your life because it shows that you can be reliable, and every company, every person that you come to get close to wants you to be a reliable person, especially if you're working alongside them, or maybe if you're like providing for them. Maybe it's a wife and kids. They need you to be reliable, um,
I think
and that's really
loyalty is
important.
another thing too.
Yeah, loyalty.
I think
Um,
loyalty, especially loyalty, is a big factor in that, I would say.
right, and it all goes back to how reliable you are. If you're loyal, I mean, there's a limit to loyalty, of course. Um, you have to show that you're willing to disagree when it's necessary,
Hmm.
and bring up, like, one of the reasons that one of the guys I work with likes working with me is, I offer suggestions. Like, he'll have this way that he wants to go, and I'll say I think we should do it this way, and he'll think about it, and that's
Uh-oh.
important.
Oh,
Um,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You probably caught that on your side of the recording, but can you say that again? It completely cut out on my side.
um, so I offer suggestions,
Okay.
and he says he'll think about it, and he does think about it, and oftentimes he'll take my suggestion because it's a good idea. So you have
Hmm.
to put up good ideas when you have them. Um, and people, people take notice of that. They
Be
appreciate it when you've
rational
got a
about
more
it, though.
efficient way. Say again?
Be rash. Be rational about it, though, because
Yes.
you don't want to have the mentality of somebody sticking a fork in the plug.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and you
yeah.
can't be too narcissistic about it either. I mean, you need to have a good balance of like you
Be
have to know your
confident.
place, but be confident when you think you have a better plan than somebody else. Don't just
Or a
sit
good
back and let them make something that's not going to work out. Do your best to improve the way.
Yeah, 'cause they could roll over you, and then that can eventually lead to exploitation, I would say.
Right. So you have to
Because that
stand up for
that's
yourself.
happened to me. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. What do we have? ChatGPT. We talked about that. Which you should go to college, maybe community college. You should,
Give it a try.
yeah,
Yeah.
explore your options. Don't go into debt. Um, and push, 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 push. Do your best to stand out, and
And
don't,
don't buy the new iPhone.
yeah, don't buy the new iPhone. Oh, Apple's gonna sue. Um,
Oh man.
uh,
God.
when I say do your best to stand out, don't try to be an attention hog. I'm just saying work honestly and stand up for
Don't
yourself.
boast about it. Don't boast about it,
Right,
especially.
definitely. Um, so those are a few tips that we have so far. I guess another one is for me. One good mentality has been the only thing standing between me and this degree is time. And that especially helped me through classes that I absolutely despised because there have been classes that I thought I don't know if I can keep going to this class. This is so hard on me, and it
It's
wasn't
stressful.
because of difficulty. It was for other reasons, but
You feel as if it's not necessary to take that class. You
right.
wonder, okay, why am I even taking this class to begin with? It's not
Exactly.
even related to my study. Uh, if I may, one clear example that comes to mind for me is ethnics class. I wonder,
Ethnics or ethics
er,
studies?
sorry, ethics studies. Ethnic, Ethnics. Ethnics.
Ethnic.
So
Yeah.
yeah, my ethnic class. Now, don't get me wrong. It was kind of cool learning about that type of culture and that kind of history. It's a new perspective.
Yeah.
But I wonder, okay, what is this serving overall? How is this going to benefit me later on?
Yeah.
I think to myself, okay, when I apply to a job and I have that mentioned in my resume, I don't even think they're going to even bother looking into that. Maybe I might be wrong, but
Yeah. It's
I
it's
may
tough to say.
I may be getting into some dicey territory, but perhaps you could say I'm too white to understand that. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's really tough to say, and there are going to be classes
Yeah.
like that where you're not into it. You really don't like it. And I would say just get through the class. There are going to be more in the future, but it's worth getting through in the long run.
Well, for
Um,
me, I'd say it was worth it because I eventually figured out exactly what I want to do with
yeah,
my life, and I think that's great. So, and the best part about it is the people that you surround yourself with, they will support you and they'll say, go for it, do it. It's worth it. It's worth your time. You love it. It's obvious. Just go down that pathway. It's worth it. So,
Yeah. I had one more thing that I was gonna say. I don't remember what it was though. It'll come to me later, I'm sure. Whatever. Do you want to move on to the next topic?
sure. Yeah, we can move on.
I wanted to bring up really quickly, not this. That is our third topic. This.
You probably were gonna bring this up.
Yeah. This is the rating that
I
iFixit gave to. Yep, gotta have the water.
well, I mean,
How do you, how do you do it through the mask? Are you just like
I
drink?
don't look. I don't know. It's just how I roll.
All
Uh-oh.
right.
Did we cut out? Did we lose connection? Okay, we're good.
Yeah,
All
we're
right,
good.
I'm on your. So,
This is the iFixit rating for the iPhone 16. And it is pretty impressive because I think that the iPhone 15 had a 4 out of 10. So they've vastly improved. Apple has vastly improved their repairability, which is great. They say
now is
there's.
this are they more flexible with in terms of the right to repair now this time around, or
It seems like they're aiming for better repairability. I don't know if it's a genuine move toward repairability because that would be, uncharacteristic of Apple. But
yeah.
I mean, it is more repairable, so that's what you can say about it, I guess. They say the battery adhesive is easier to get rid of, and it's easier to open. And let's see, there were a few other things.
Oh, I fixed it. If you're watching this, please sponsor us. I love your kits. They're really cool.
Yeah, and send me one too because I don't have one yet.
Please. I have a knockoff kit. I'm part of that. I'm too broke to have one. So,
Oh my
please
gosh.
send us one. Please. We'll do anything. We'll sponsor you every single video because we know your product is amazing.
Yeah, iFixit. If you haven't heard of them, they do have a good product. Most people agree, at least. And they do
Better
these.
product than the 16, but yeah.
Yeah. They do these repair guides and teardowns and everything. And they have videos up that they use to chat about how easy it is to tear something apart, an electronic device apart. So they do good work, it seems like, and they fight for right to repair laws and so forth. But going back to the 16, the iPhone 16, I'm sure most of you have heard about it. It's the newest iPhone, and what can be said? It's a new iPhone. It's basically the same as every iPhone we've had in the past, except this time it gets a 7 out of 10, which is great. Provisional, that means something. Significant upgrade from last year's model, they say, which is great. And I guess the iPhone 16 is going to be getting AI this year, sometime maybe. They said
Getting
improve.
AI?
Yeah, they're gonna add Apple Intelligence. This is, I guess, we're gonna turn it into an update on the iPhone 16.
Yeah, but we have Siri. So
Yeah,
I
but
I don't get
Siri's gonna get a new look, right? They're gonna, instead of having the circle bubble thing like that, they're gonna have, here. Let me change scenes again. Oh, shush. Um, instead of having that thing, they're gonna have a thing that goes around the border of your phone and lights up, and it does an animation and everything. And they're also gonna have AI integrated into Siri. So, excuse me. Oh my gosh, the soda's killing me. They're gonna have AI integrated into Siri. It's gonna be good, I think. But most people don't actually care about AI, so I don't know how this whole AI trend is going to turn out. I think most people have. Well, I don't even know how many people have tried AI. I mean, we talked about ChatGPT, but it seems like most people don't really care about.
That's another that's another tip, especially for in terms of picking a career. Pick something that you know at least won't be overtaken completely by AI. Because for me, there is no way that we're gonna have AI fixing our pipes. Impossible. Never happening. So there you
Just
go.
jinxed it right there.
Jinxed it. Oh no. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I would say white collar jobs are more at risk, but well, one reason I picked computer science, despite the AI thing and everybody saying, "Oh, it's going to take over programming jobs," is, well, first of all, I don't really fancy being a programmer. It's not my thing. I'm okay at it, but um, it's not really my thing. And second of all, I think in order to combat AI, you have to know about it, right? So what better way than to get a computer science degree and learn about it? So that's kind of
Yeah.
one of the reasons I pursued CS besides my interest in hardware. So definitely, I mean,
Yeah, but hardware is cool though.
I know hardware is awesome.
It's very cool.
I I still don't like, okay, kind of going back to the college thing. I still don't know what job specifically I want to do, and I think that's okay. If you don't know what job you specifically want to do, you just kind of have an idea of what subject you're interested in, it's still worth pursuing because there are a whole bunch of options for most subjects. And it mostly depends on what you're willing to undertake. And after you get a degree, you're pretty well prepared for almost any job in the subject. Um, So I don't know. I think I might be best suited for a managerial position, but obviously that's, I feel like that's probably something that you have to work your way up to. You're not just going to start as a manager.
Well,
Um,
I mean, you could argue this. My mom, I'm not going to say the company, but she knows someone. She has a coworker who's currently in college right now. They're trying to finish up I think it's their master's in business. And thing is, even while he's working on this program, apparently he, I guess, applied for one of the Amazon warehouses to manage
mm,
a whole entire warehouse.
wow,
And he was wanting to get a quote exactly for a quote in terms of like what the management would look like, how much he would earn a year, that type of thing. And for this companies that he's working for now, they pretty much blocked him from doing that entirely in terms
wow.
of applying for management in this current company that he's in at the moment. I may miss a few details. If my mom is watching this, she'll know exactly, but um I probably missed a few details, but apparently he was talking to, I guess, hit some of the people in the higher ups for this job that he's working at right now. He's like, "Well, Amazon just said, yeah, you're more than capable of doing that. Come on down here. We'd be glad to have you. You'd make it a lot better for everybody." And for this company that he's working at right now, they're completely denying him, even though he's overqualified for it. So, I
Wow.
mean, it's I don't know what my point is. I just thought I would bring that up. I completely forgot what the point was, but I think it was for you. It was about the for applying for management for something
Yeah,
that was related completely to computer science. So
yeah. So the moral of the story is continue to pursue what you're pursuing, especially if it's something that like something in a subject field that you're going to enjoy.
and if it's not challenging, then you're probably not in the right place. You probably aren't.
Yeah.
If you hit a plateau, just like this guy that I mentioned, he pretty much hit a plateau and he was ready to move on. You're either going to get denied or you're going to continue to be there pretty much for the rest of your life. And for that second part, That's okay. You could say that's my mom. She enjoys the work that she does. She
Good.
enjoys it. She has no problem with it. She has no problem being in the exact same position because it means that she's secure and she doesn't have to worry. Thing is, um, there are just those types of people who enjoy challenges every day, which by the way, trade school offers new challenges basically every single day.
Yeah.
So there you go. And I'm not saying that doesn't apply to, these other, you know, jobs that are out there in the real world. I mean, here's the thing. We're both 20. We're doing part-time jobs. We don't even have an idea. I guess you could argue. We don't really have that much. I don't have an idea of what that line of work is like. I guess you could make the argument that I kind of do because I work 4 days a week, but this job that I'm working at currently, I enjoy it, but I know it's something that I'm not going to be there forever doing. And the coworkers that are there, if they enjoy that, that's fine. More power to them, but it's not my thing. So, but like you said, uh, y- you got to ensure always challenge yourself.
Yeah.
If it's not challenging, then you're probably not in the right area.
Right.
At least that's my interpretation of it. Because I enjoy a challenge. I love it. I love doing challenges. I love solving puzzles. I like getting my hands dirty. You
Yeah.
could obviously say I'm someone who likes to do stuff in the more, I guess, realistic type of work. I enjoy being outdoors. I'm used to the hot weather. Heck, it was 101 degrees out today.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could say, well, why are you wearing this, Nelson? This is ridiculous. Well, it's 73 in here. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I think
but
there's a
keep.
important distinction between challenging yourself, because that is necessary. You have to challenge yourself. But there's an
Mhm.
important distinction between challenging yourself and banging your head against a wall.
Oh, yeah.
Because at the school I go to, there are a lot of people that have overdone it. They've picked a field that is too difficult or it doesn't match their personality, and they just end up hitting a wall. And they keep taking the classes,
And
and they
they
can't
hate
pass.
themselves.
And
They hate themselves.
and it's not good. I mean, if you notice that that's happening, if you notice that you cannot grasp a subject that is a core tenet of what you're pursuing, try to realize that perhaps that is not the subject for you. And try to realize that there are plenty of other things for you to do. There are like infinite possibilities. There are so many jobs out there, and so many things that you could do. So just try to realize that you could take it a different direction. And like we said before, um, there are hints that college provides you. Um, if you're going through a class and you notice that you like it, that's a hint right there. So it may be worth pursuing something else if you're hitting a wall. But there is a difference between hitting a wall and, like, if you notice that it's something that you're doing all right in, and maybe you just need to work a little harder, or maybe you need to talk to your professor or whatever. It's also worth doing that,
Hmm.
because most of the time a professor, or maybe what do they call them, assistants,
Instructor,
yeah, something like that. Um,
tutor.
yeah, if they have an assistant or a tutor or something that's associated with the class, that's also worth going into if you have a hard time with a class. Um, I'm just gonna brag real quick.
Go on ahead, dude. If of all people, honestly, of all the people that I met in my life, and I've known you my whole life, you have every right to brag.
No,
Yes, you do.
no,
You 100%
no,
have
no, no, no,
every
no, no.
right. Yes, yes, you
Maybe
do.
I shouldn't
Because you're
brag right now.
hard. No, do it. Do it.
Okay.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Um, I am in my first semester of my third year at college, and I have so far maintained a 4.0 GPA, which means A in every single class that I've taken so far. To be frank, it's been really hard on me, but and it's not something that you can do in every college. I'm in a situation that is conducive to higher GPAs. Um, you know, the like in some of the UC colleges, they have quotas on grades, so professors can only hand out so many of a certain grade. But why am I bragging about this again? Oh yeah, persistence. I have been extremely persistent in learning, um, and I think that is important. I have not failed a class yet because I have, well, it's not like I haven't faced adversity in any of these classes. Like I took trig last semester too, trigonometry, and it was hard class, especially since my memory is not very good.
And I
Um,
was ahead of you. I remember this. I
yeah,
was ahead of you in that class. You're like, "Oh, we haven't even started that." And I'm like, "You haven't started it yet?"
yeah,
It's I was like 4 weeks ahead of you.
yeah,
Granted, by the way, I only get 90-day semesters. So he takes longer semesters than I do.
yeah.
So,
But I mean, I took, there were four exams, and I passed the first one 100%, second one 100%, third one 56%. I effed the third exam, completely bombed it, and it was a disaster. But
oh no.
part of being persistent is figuring out what you did wrong and practicing, and that's what I did. Um, and fortunately, that class, it was the third exam was the most stressful point in the semester. I was totally bogged down with other stuff, and that's, I guess, another tip. Don't take so many classes that you get bogged down. If you're going to take a class, or if you're going to take a set of classes, make sure that it's not going to be too much, because there's no point in taking a bunch of classes and failing all of them. You got to take the right number of classes that for you, so that you
You're
can handle them.
Yeah, you're gonna burn yourself out.
Right. Well, you're
You're
going to
gonna
be burned out and overloaded, and you don't want that. That's a bad
'cause
combination right there.
I remember for us during that time, even my girlfriend too, we were all burned out
Yeah.
really badly.
It was really rough.
Because yeah, it was just
And that's part of
that's
the reason I bombed that exam. It was a big deal, and I just didn't have the memory capacity that day. I went in and I looked at every question, and I said, I don't know how to do this. Um,
was this was this before spring break or after spring break?
Probably after,
Okay, because for
maybe.
us, we never got a spring break, so
Oh man,
it sucked. It just sucked. And my mom she told me, she said, even if you got a week, it wouldn't have made a difference. It really wouldn't have. And to be fair, she's not wrong.
yeah.
So,
Well, I think there's a lot you can do to take advantage of a spring break. Like really try to unwind and refresh yourself. But you know, obviously don't lose track of what's going on.
no.
Um,
Yeah.
anyway, fortunately, the system in my trigonometry class was that you could fail. Like if you took, he would drop one of the exams essentially. Um, I don't think he would drop the final. That was the fourth exam.
They would drop your lowest one, yeah.
Yeah, he would
If
drop
you
the lowest one.
if your final got higher than your lowest one, I think that's how it works, he would drop it. Correct? Or am I wrong?
I think it. You know what? I think it was just that he would drop the lowest one, and it didn't. It
I,
was regardless of what exam it was, or what scores you had on each exam.
that's how it was for us, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So I took advantage of that system, obviously. Um, I took and the thing about the final is you did not want to fail one of the first three exams, because the final was everything, and it was a longer exam, much longer than the other three exams.
For us, it wasn't. What's that word called
Cumulative.
again? Cumulative. Yeah, yeah. For us, it wasn't.
Yeah.
So
Ours was
actually,
cumulative.
no. Ours was. Our final exam was. We had five exams total. The fifth one being the final, and it was like two or three questions from each. So
Yeah.
yeah. There was one question I remember. There was one question that I did on the exam, and I was thinking, I don't know it. Forget it. I'm
Yeah.
not doing it. I actually, no, I'm not even kidding. I just wrote down what I thought I knew, and then as I was writing it down, I'm like, I'm an idiot. I don't know this. I don't know this class. I don't even know why I'm taking this math class. And then I got, I think it was a C on it, and I'm thinking, hey, that works for me.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. I passed. That's
Yeah.
all that matters. So,
So what I did was I studied for the final exam like crazy, and I spent. I never
I
study.
remember
I
that.
never study.
I,
That's my policy. I didn't study for a single exam for the first 2 years of my college career. Really, up until that point. And it was all memory based, right? So I spent tons of time writing every formula down, over and over and over again. And
what'd you get on?
what's that?
What'd you get on it?
100%.
Wow.
It was hard. It was hard for me to do.
Yeah.
I
Sheesh.
really had to work to memorize those things because I just have the worst memory ever.
I think
So,
for us, I think I wouldn't blame you. I would have been salty too. I think I mentioned to you, we got note cards for our exams. So we got to write down formulas and
we didn't
everything
get
for
that.
our exams. So you could argue I had it easy. Fair enough. That makes sense. Yeah.
So I ended up acing the class.
Well, bravo to you. I think I came out with, I think I got like a B in that class. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I mean, and the other thing is you don't bother yourself with how other people are doing because it's not
oh
helpful
yeah.
to you.
Don't
Um,
compare yourself to others. Don't. It's no.
if
Only to who you were yesterday. 12
yes,
Rules for Life. I'd recommend reading that.
yes, definitely. I mean, it's a long read and it's kind of confusing, but
It can.
it does have good rules in it.
But anyways, I keep taking us off track.
No, you're good. That was a good statement actually. Um, so the thing is, you have to prepare yourself properly for stuff. If you're noticing that you're not doing well and you can't do well, no matter how much you try, it's probably not the best place for you to be. Try to figure out something else. Look at the signs, see if there's anything else you're interested in. There's no use banging your head against the wall. And if you have to retake like one or two or three classes, it's no big deal. You can just retake the classes. It's no problem. And you'll be
Uh,
better off. But
yeah. One of the things that has stuck with me since my first year at going to that JC was for my communications class, which is speech, by the way. You have to stand up in front of people and give a speech. And it is, I think if I'm not mistaken now, it is actually a requirement now to take that class, if I'm not mistaken, because now in the real world, it's kind of, you're gonna have to give a speech whether you like it or not
yeah.
later on in your life. You're gonna have to, and you're gonna encounter that, and there's no way of avoiding it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but th this college professor, he told me one thing. Well, he mentioned it to the whole class, but it is stuck with me to this day. Strive for excellence, not perfection.
Yeah. Definitely.
Always just strive for perfection, or not perfection. Sorry, strive for
Excellence.
excellence,
Yeah.
not perfection. So,
That's really
and
important.
I've gone with that mentality ever since he mentioned that to me, and it does you well physiologically and mentally well in the long term.
Yes. It feels good to do
So,
the best you can in everything you do because you know that you're doing the best you can.
well, and the thing is, you don't go in trying because, as Master Yoda said, "Do or do not, there is no try."
Right.
So, he has a point.
Yes.
Even if it's a work of fiction, trying when you go in with the mentality of trying,
Yeah.
you already know that you're going to fail in the end.
Right.
So
So do your
give
best.
it give it your all.
Yeah.
And if you fail, learn from it and
Yes.
then move on and adapt.
Right.
That happens at school, that happens at work, and that happens with a lot of family matters.
Yep.
And that's how you become a better person over time.
Right.
You excellent. You're not being a perfectionist. You're becoming a lot more excellent as a person. You earn honor. You Arthur. You earn respect. Um
Arthur.
so
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
it's
Uh
important.
I
So
was
I just
gonna
thought I
say
would put
something
that
else.
in there.
What was I gonna? I keep see this is my bad memory. I can't remember what I was gonna say.
Hey, it's okay. I'm with you on that. I don't even remember what we were talking about the last hour of recording. So
Well, I mean that's pretty. Does I mean I think that's pretty good advice. Strive for excellence. That's a good thing, and move on when you need to move on. When you realize that you're not doing okay, try to
don't
learn from it.
dwindle.
Yeah, don't
Don't
dwindle on it.
dwindle. I feel like we're the next David Goggins, if you know who he is. Here. If you're watching my stream, I'll show you.
We're going.
I gotta type with these now.
Good luck. He's looking it up. I'll show you guys when he's got it.
I believe he used to be like a 400-pound dude, and he basically exercised himself to death so that way he could be a Navy SEAL. A former Navy SEAL, by the way.
Uh huh.
This guy right here. Don't be, you don't have to be like this guy. You don't have to. It's not, trust me.
That's a
This
lot of
guy's
hard
just,
work.
this guy's built different. If my girlfriend is watching this, I hope she isn't because I don't have this type of attribute. So I poured most of my Fallout attributes to what's the best way of putting it? Luck. So
Nah. I mean, some people are gonna get unlucky, and that's just the way of things. But you have to take your lumps and move on when you get unlucky. It's just part of living. Fallout
let's
4.
see what do we
Oh
got
my
here.
gosh.
I put mine mostly into hmm. I don't think any of these. I think all of mine are at 0.
Oh
So
my gosh.
I guess perception. I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So, but I'm getting off topic again.
One thing I wanted to mention was let me switch back here.
Yeah,
Um, don't put too much pressure on yourself to get extreme insight into the distant future. Like it's way too hard to know what you're going to be doing years down the line, let alone like months down the line. Like um work with what you have right now. Do your best with what you have right now. Focus on getting through what you're working on. And don't worry too much about years down the road because there's not much you can do. And predictions, I thought I was going to be a pharmacist, didn't work out, and a lot of things are going to be like that. So
you found out the good way. I would say you found out in the right way. You didn't find out the hard way because you didn't keep hitting the wall like you
yeah,
said earlier. So
I swapped
for
over
those
before I
that
hit the wall. I
yeah,
noticed the signs early. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I hate this class. It's so boring. I can't bring myself to make
for
it through this
those that
class."
for those that do hit the wall, they're gonna deprive themselves of, I guess you could say, their humanity to some extent. They're gonna
Yeah.
be soulless. I mean, metaphorically speaking. But
Yeah.
uh, man, I completely forgot what I was gonna mention too. There was something else. Darn.
I know.
Anyways,
It's the worst. We keep doing it.
I was almost gonna say it, but you were talking, and I wanted you to get your piece, of course. So
Yeah, sorry about that.
I
That's my
complete.
bad.
No, don't be sorry. No, you made a good point. No, you made a good point, and we made it loop around and wrap up. So,
Yeah. All right. Well, so that's our talk about the iPhone 16.
oh yeah, did we have anything for politics or no?
Yes.
Oh yes, now I remember. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Who could forget the vice presidential debate?
Yes,
I've
the
only
vice
seen clips
presidential
of it.
debate.
So I heard the
Wait.
the
Real
moderator.
quick, real quick. This is the
Sorry,
disclaimer. If you guys don't like politics, it's starting right now. So just be aware of that. If you don't like
you are
politics, if you don't
welcome.
want to watch this, go scoot.
You are welcome to leave. We are only here to inform. We don't give our opinions. The only time
Uh,
we do is when we think of,
we'll do
I
our
guess
best
you
not
could
to give
say,
opinions
yeah, as pretty
because
much
it's I've seen this in college. Every professor is extremely
biased.
biased. And then that's how it is for everybody, and they can't help but give their opinion. So we're probably not that much better. It's going to be difficult for us to keep our opinions under wrap, but we're going to do our best.
Oh, I'm sure based off of the stuff that we've said in this podcast, at least for this episode and the last two episodes, I'm almost certain that we've probably, to some extent,
Yeah.
ruffled a few feathers. Whoever the couple of viewers that are watching, but we appreciate.
Yeah, I think we have
We
10 on
appreciate.
the first episode already.
Oh, I counted 13, or I
That's
saw
probably
13
it.
last.
I'm not entirely sure.
I mean, hey, we're gonna keep doing this, so
Yeah.
I don't care.
All right. Well, you were starting to talk. Did you want to keep going, or do you want me to get it going here?
I will say I have not watched the debate,
Yeah.
so let me get that clear. I'll make that point clear. Haven't watched it yet.
Not all the
I'll
way through.
probably watch. I probably will watch it maybe sometime this weekend just to have a clear understanding. But from what I've heard on the surface, the moderators are terrible. And second, I heard from a lot of people that this was probably the most civil debate that we've had in over 30 years in
Yep.
terms of politics, from what I've heard. I don't know if that's true,
This debate,
but based
it totally reminds me of JFK versus Nixon, Richard Nixon. That's what it
really,
reminds me of. It was that civil. It was that solid of a debate, and I really appreciate that. That's just not something that you get a lot of these days, and especially after the the most recent presidential debates, this was a real breath of fresh air. And it one thing that I heard was that, and this kind of goes for me too, is people kind of wish the ticket was flipped, and these vice presidents were our choices for president, not our choices for vice president.
I can see that. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Because they come across as much more willing to like the word bipartisan came up so many times during this debate, and they agreed with each other on several things, and they were like, I'm sure you believe this, but I don't think your running mate believes this, and they were willing to work together sort of on several things, it sounded like. So that was one thing that
Yeah,
was really impressive about this debate. um
that's that's a first.
yeah.
And my according to my mom, she watched the debate. She told me that they were able to answer pretty much every single question.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, JD Vance was able to answer every single question, and Tim Walz was able to answer every single question. Now, whether or not you agree or disagree with these two candidates, that's completely fine. Agree to disagree. That's it's election season, so
Yeah,
uh,
it's a really hot time.
as
People
long
are
as you
really
are
worked up
as
about
long as
everything.
you are civil, as long as you are civil and you are being decent human beings,
Yeah,
as pretty much what Logan described earlier about they were mentioning bipartisan a lot, then maybe the world isn't as doom and gloom as we all think it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, this is, I think this should be the new standard for debates. Even though there were some bad things here and there, like at one point the like I didn't think that the moderators were that bad. Um, but at one point they did try to fact check Vance, and it was kind of a bad moment for them, especially because Vance did um, speak over them and say, wait, you said you weren't going to fact check. That's not how we're doing this. And since you are fact checking me, I'm gonna say the truth. And so that was interesting, and it actually did turn out that their fact check was it was true in a sense, but it wasn't the full story, and JD Vance gave the rest of the story.
It was
Um,
taken out of context, from what I've heard.
yeah, kind of.
The only
So
thing the only thing that I saw from that clip was he said something about for the people that are entering this nation not the correct way, I guess you could say. They were using a app on their phone that was allowing them to, I guess, register for some type of not even a green card or a US citizenship. I
yes,
forgot what it was called. Was it asylum, if I'm not mistaken? Or
they were like technically illegal immigrants, and then there's some path that they can apply for that gives them legal status, but there's still it's still like it's not the full
it's a temporary
grant to
status, yeah?
citizenship. It's like a temporary stay, and it's not as legit or something. I don't know. I don't know the full story there. Um,
Interesting.
I guess I didn't make this disclaimer, but I have actually seen the full debate. Actually, I've watched it twice, and um, but one thing I noticed was this this is a really solid debate. I mean, they weren't really debating each other's ideas so much. They were more. I mean, so it wasn't a debate in the really classical sense, but they did manage to get their policies across, and that's one thing that we haven't seen um, in recent history, especially from the presidential debate. Like nobody knew what Kamala Harris's or Trump's policies really were. I mean, you could kind of get a sense, but they were just like really shady outlines. Like they weren't and not shady is that's not the word, but it's they were rough outlines, really rough outlines of what they were kind of planning to do. And I feel like this debate really cleared a lot of things up for a lot of people. And
It was a lot more transparent from what I've heard.
right. And I think that some people say Vance won, some people say Walls won, and I think really the people that won were the American people. Um,
That's such an American thing to say. That's
da,
such an
da,
American.
da,
Well,
da,
honestly,
da,
yeah,
da.
because you're not wrong because I mean, we're all the ones that are voting, so
Yeah,
we finally got some good transparency for once, I guess you
right.
could say. Part of it.
Yes.
I'm sure
There was
you're gonna
additional
say,
transparency, which was super nice, and the biggest win I think for the American people was the civility of the debate.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Um.
Even though I've only seen clips of it. I haven't seen the whole thing. I've only seen clips, and I've
Yeah.
seen my mom go on tangents about certain policies and
Yeah.
this person terrible, that person's awful.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's fun to I because here's the thing. I will say this. Uh I'm gonna go off topic real quick. When you were watching mainstream media for such a long time, I think we mentioned this before, it just takes a toll on you.
Yeah.
It
That's for
doesn't do
sure.
you well. That's one thing. And just to watch my mom watch the news feed in regards to this debate, I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just couldn't help but laugh because that was the only time my mom would turn on the TV to watch news, and that's it. Because there's basically in this household, we don't do Fox News, we don't do CNN, we avoid all of these news programs.
Yeah.
We only stick to we do our best to look at multiple sources at once, just so that way we can make our own interpretations based off of it. Make a good educated interpretation and wonder okay, how would that benefit me as a person, as an American citizen?
Yeah.
How would that do me well in the long term?
Well, and then
So,
sometimes you have to sacrifice your needs for the needs of other people too.
yes, that's another thing. But
Um,
all right, we're done with my spiel.
no, that was good. Yeah, it's as someone who does not keep up with news a lot, um, and as someone who had previously kept up with news probably more than the average person, um, it was interesting. It was, especially like when did I stop watching the news? Probably like 2020, maybe thereabouts. I got fed up with it in 2020 or so.
Yeah. What a year.
So it's been like 4 years, and I really disliked what I was seeing from the mainstream media, and even like third parties back then. And I was sub to on YouTube to a few political commentators, but they're all out of my subscriptions now, so I'm not keeping up really as much as I was. But compared to what I watched
The
back
only
then,
person,
this is really good. This debate was really good.
yeah, your dad is pretty much the only person that I know that's keeping us informed in terms of politics. If anything,
Yeah,
I trust your dad more than I trust the news.
yeah,
So,
definitely.
granted, I don't mean to throw any shade. He has Twitter,
Yeah,
so he gets that live feed every single time,
yeah.
and I think that's great. Cool. But I mean, as you know, I used to have Twitter and I deleted it earlier this year because I made a deal with my girlfriend. I told her, okay, if I delete Twitter, you delete Instagram. And ever since then, I haven't had Twitter. And I've had the urge to, whenever I look at my phone every now and then, I'm like, man, I really wish I could just scroll through my feed real quick and see if anybody's saying it, if anybody's like posting any stupid memes
Yeah,
in the live feed or anything. But since then, nothing.
yeah.
Absolutely nothing. So I've been sober.
Well, I think that's important. Social media is, and I've never had social media, but I know for a fact that it's just an extra weight. And in most cases, it's absolutely unnecessary.
Well, it's well, for one thing, your dad may disagree. I'm sure he knows this, and I know that your mom definitely knows this because I made a really bad metaphor. I'm like, oh, it was like heroin,
Yeah.
even though I've never had heroin. I don't even know. I don't condone the use of illegal drugs. I don't. But that's what I equated it to.
Yep.
It's I gotta check Twitter. I gotta see what's going on. The only reason why I had Twitter was because of dumb memes. I will say that. Some politics, brain dead politics,
Yep.
and to watch stupid people on Twitter have an argument. And then last but not least was just to keep updates on gaming news. And that was about it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Well, and I use YouTube a lot now for that, but yeah,
Shorts is bad.
shorts is
Shorts is bad.
shorts is so addicting.
It's bad.
I've pretty much said I'm not going to click on the shorts tab because it's so easy to scroll forever and ever and ever. I like long form content that I can just have playing in the background and not have to think about it. Uh, but yeah, needless to say, I was really happy with this debate. There were some problems here and there, but overall, I think it set a good precedent for the future, and I think both candidates did extremely well. I do
How it
think
should
one
be.
did better than the other, but I'm not going to say who. Um, that's an
I know.
opinion, and
I know.
it's not necessarily helpful. I would suggest if you haven't already, you should watch this. This is like 1,000 times better than the presidential debate that we saw. So it's much more productive. It definitely gives you a better idea of what the candidates believe, and I think that both of both Tim Walz and JD Vance are very competent people, and it does seem like they genuinely, well, for the most part, it seems like they genuinely believe what they are saying. So that's what I have to say about that.
And they weren't talking about golf. That's
I know.
crazy. I'm a much better golf player than you. I'm better than you. I'm just a lot better.
You are not a six. Oh my gosh, yeah.
There was another thing that he said. Well, I think it was for the second one with Kamala Harris. This one stuck with me. I thought it was funny. They're eating the dogs.
They're
They're
eating the
eating the
cats.
cats. That's so
They're
funny
eating
to
the
me.
pets. Yeah, one of the clips from this debate was
It was so funny to laugh. It was so stupid. It was funny.
I know, it was great.
I didn't even care about the politics behind it. It was just a funny clip. It
I
was an
know.
all around good clip.
Yeah,
So I'm sure SNL are having a fun time right now.
right. Well, the biggest clip from this debate was when Tim Walz said that he was friends with school shooters, and it was so clearly a misspeak, but it was a pretty
Freudian,
bad misspeak to make, and it's been all
Freudian.
over the internet, and I can't help but feel bad for the guy because it that's just it's like the worst case scenario,
Oh, there
especially
was.
since it can be so easily taken out of context.
Did you see in our messages? I sent you that Politico analysis of both JD Vance and Tim Waltz. It was hilarious. I was laughing so much when I was
I
reading it.
didn't see it.
I'm like, you guys can't make this up. That's so stupid. Uh, where was it? It was on Wednesday. It was with your dad, you, myself, and your brother.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it was talking about, oh, his beard matters, and then another one was
Oh
Waltz's
yeah.
eyes, his passion. I'm like, you
Yeah.
can't make this up, dude.
Yeah, a
This is
lot of
so
people have their analyses like they're trying to look at the faces and the body language, like there's like saying that uh
they
a
act
head
like they have
nod and a shoulder is lying, and JD Vance's beard matters because he's like the only guy in recent history that's run for president or vice president that has a beard, and
yeah.
it's like
They act like
okay.
they have PhDs, yet they all claim that they have PhDs and everything and degrees and so, but
Yeah,
yet again they also self-diagnose themselves with ADHD. It
they
makes
call
no
them
sense.
armchair professionals of what they call
Reddit Redditors,
them. Yeah.
and Discord moderators. That's another thing too. Well, the Discord moderators, they what is it? Very wide, very heavy. Uh, they like to moderate people. I mean, that's the same for the Redditors. They're basically one and the same. 4chan's probably not any better, I would say. So they're all bad. Every single one of them. Even the Twitter users, they're bad.
Yeah.
So you got Facebook moms. Good grief.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for politics for me. Unless you have anything else to say.
Uh,
Let's see. What are
no,
we at here?
I'm
One
an
thirty
hour
three.
and yeah, I'm an hour 34 in.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you wanted to call it quits here, I mean, we can. Or unless you have something in mind, we could talk about. I mean, that's fine.
No, that's all I had for topics for today. Um,
Okay.
but just as a recap, sort of. First of all, we're still going through all this, college wise. So if you do decide to listen to what we have to say, just keep that in
We
mind. We are
appreciate
not
it.
professionals in any way.
But we appreciate you taking the time to listen to us
Definitely.
if you even bother watching
Right.
or if it was a misclick. We do appreciate the
Yes.
so
And if you have anything to add to what we said, feel free to do so in the comments. That like we said, that also boosts the algorithm. That is one of the biggest algorithm boosters. So
oh,
comment if you've got something to say. Um,
and
I
we
would
hope
say, Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I hope we definitely hope you guys like the intro and the outro
Yes.
because
That
I
was
was a
all
bit on.
him. That was all him. He did all of that. I'm so impressed. I'm actually very
Well,
happy.
I was so I'll f- any feedback on that, just let me know. And I asked you, Logan, as well. If there's any feedback, I'll probably come up with something, but I just wanted something simple that we could transition into. So
Yeah. And then, of course, like topic suggestions if you have any. And I wanted to say if you are going through school or starting to move into college, or maybe you're even starting a career, I want to we want to both wish you the best of luck. That it's change is always hard, and it can be tough, or it can be exciting, or both. And go out there and challenge yourself and get it done. I'm
don't stress yourself out. Don't
definitely
stress yourself out.
um,
You're
be confident
presumably
too.
our target audience, I would say, is probably going to be maybe in the late teens and mid 20s. That's my
Yeah,
assumption.
similar age to us probably.
Similar age to us, so you don't want, I will say this. You want to find something, of course, stick to it, find some success, and if that's challenging and fun, more power to you. So,
Yeah, and don't put too much pressure on yourself. Like it's really difficult to figure out what you want to do. And
you're
then
young. You're figuring this out.
right,
The only position that you don't want to be in is, well, now you're 30. What were you doing for the last 5 years? You
yes,
don't want that. So
right.
just keep that in mind.
So be
So
persistent in scoping out potential uh, directions to go, um, and always aim onward and upward for sure. It's very important that you make the best of this life. I think because we have a limited time, and it's important that we strive to make the world better for everyone, including ourselves. So yeah. Anything else?
no, I got nothing else to say.
All
Oh,
right.
I will say Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So
Yes.
I have these on. I mean,
Very
I
nice.
will always have these on. That's the reason why that I got the stickers because of breast cancer awareness.
Yeah.
So
Yes. If you have breast cancer, that is. I'm sorry to hear that, but you'll push through.
I support you.
We support you. Yes.
So
All
a
right.
little
Well, on that note,
off-topic segment. So all right.
thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you sticking with us, and we're gonna keep going. We're gonna do more of these. Like we said, any topic suggestions or additions to what we said, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And that's us. Here's Logan, and
Nelson, all right. You guys have
yes,
a good one. We'll see you next time.
alrighty.